Hello coaches, in this week's video we are going to go over intra-conference transfers. The eligibility of a student athlete who transfers directly or indirectly from one conference member institution to another shall be determined by NCAA regulations and the following conference requirements. A student athlete who has provided a written offer of athletically related financial aid or a recruited United States Air Force Academy wrestling student athlete must forfeit a season of competition if NCAA transfer regulations require the student athlete to complete an academic year in residence before being eligible to compete. So what that means is if a NCAA rule requires a scholarship student athlete to complete an academic year in residence before being eligible, then according to this rule, must also forfeit one season of competition. Additionally, this rule does not apply to non-scholarship student athletes who were never provided athletically related financial aid. When applying this rule, NCAA transfer status is the student athlete's status before receiving any NCAA waivers. If a student athlete is immediately eligible upon transferring only because the student athlete received a NCAA waiver, for example, legislative relief waiver, then per the rule, the student athlete must complete an academic year in residence and forfeit a season of competition. Note, this rule does not apply to NCAA transfer exceptions as defined in bylaw 14.5. This rule also applies to Big 12 affiliate members for certain sports. So for the sport of wrestling, that would include North Dakota State, Northern Colorado, South Dakota State, Air Force, Utah Valley, Wyoming, Fresno State, and Northern Iowa. For women's gymnastics, that would include the University of Denver. Moving on to 424 transfers. A 424 transfer student athlete who was provided a written offer of athletically related financial aid from the first member institution must first complete one full academic year in residence before being eligible to compete in a sport and must forfeit one season of competition unless, in sports other than football or basketball, the director of athletics of the conference member institution of initial enrollment consents in writing to the student athlete's enrollment at the second Big 12 conference institution. Any consent given relating to the indirect transfer may be unconditional or conditioned on the student athlete completing one full academic year in residence at the second conference member institution. If an institution received a written 424 transfer request from a student athlete requesting the AD's consent, the institution shall respond to the request within 7 business days of receipt of the request. If the institution fails to respond within 7 business days, consent shall be granted by default. If a 424 transfer request is denied, the institution shall inform the student athlete in writing that a hearing shall be provided upon written request by the student athlete. If a hearing is requested, NCAA legislation relating to the one-time transfer exception hearing opportunity shall apply. Prior to a student athlete's transfer from one Big 12 institution to another, the head coach, student athlete, and director of compliance shall sign a conference-prescribed interconference transfer form. The form shall remain on a file at such institution. Now, to ensure that you have watched this video, please scan the QR code or click on the link in the video description to answer the attendance question.